The Boston Celtics secret weapon has been unleashed. Baylor Schierman has been hooping as of late, and in 2 of his last 4 games, he's gone for over 15 points in less than 20 minutes. Last night, he went for 20 points on 6 of 7 shooting from 3, 7 of 8 shooting from the field overall. And if the Celtics get another guy to come in off the bench that can knock down 6 threes on you going into the playoffs, this is going to be dangerous. This is why I posted that video way back at the NBA draft that the Celtics got an absolute steal at 30. It's because he could impact the game from day one, and he's doing that right now as a Celtic. Now, the Celtics are now over the 50-win threshold, sitting at 50-19, second in the East. They're, increasing space between themselves and the Knicks. For a second, I thought they were going to run down the Cavs, but it hasn't seemed like so far they're going to be able to do that. But I think they're just fine sitting there in the number 2 spot. And if Baylor Scheierman can be the 9th man to this rotation going into the playoffs, look out. It was a memorable night versus the Brooklyn Nets where Baylor Scheierman went for his new career high, posting 20 points to go with 3 assists, 2 steals in just 16 minutes. And he did that on 6 of 7 shooting from beyond the arc. And as I mentioned earlier, he was 7 of 8 from the field overall. You see, he's even playing defense right here, leading to the other X Factor, Torrey Craig, getting a trip to the line. And then what he can do as the throw behind guy. As Derrick White drives into the paint and Al Horford rolls, the guy guarding Scheierman has to be the tag guy. It ends up with a 3-ball for Baylor Scheierman. Yet another weapon they can bring off of their bench. And then a nice cut right here to get his only non-3-ball of the game. Great pass from Drew Holiday, being another glue guy, right? Being able to cut to the rim, and he's 6'9", so he can finish at the rim despite the fact that he's not the best athlete in the world. And then this one, wow, from way downtown. He shot that one from Creighton. That was from beyond the hash. He's got long range, unlimited talk, text, and data range for Baylor Scheierman. And if he can get going with Sam Hauser, this team can be looking really, really special going into the playoffs. Like I said, poised for another repeat. And then they throw it into Porzingis. The Nets double, so the guy guarding Scheierman has to go to the next available, which is Horford. Extra pass, knocking it down. Look at that release. That is an unblockable release point up on top of his head where he shoots it from. And then off the dribble a little bit here. Knocking it down in transition, just pulling up. 20 seconds on the shot clock. I'm a rookie. Doesn't matter. I'm going to tell the crowd about it too. He's already got that Boston attitude. And then little shot fake, one dribble, escape dribble, knocking it down. Over his last 4 games played, averaging 9.5 points, 2 boards, and 1.8 assists in just 17 minutes of action, shooting 62% from the field and 59% from 3. Dude has been balling. And then another guy that balled out last night was Kristaps Porzingis, who on the year averaging about 19.3 points, 6 boards, 2.3 assists, and 1.6 blocks in 29 minutes. And he's their X factor, right? He does so much for them. Above the rim, defending the rim. He's 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan, and there really is no recreation of him for the Celtics. Now, there are other guys in the league kind of like him, but Porzingis, if he would be healthy all year, he'd be All-NBA. 48% shooting from the field, 39% from 3. If he played a full, minute, because he only plays 29 minutes a game, and he's still putting up 19, 6, and 2 on almost 50, 40, 90 efficiency. A ridiculous stat line. 22 and 12 with Porzingis, which isn't quite as good as you would think, to be honest, but they did kind of start coasting once Porzingis came back, gave Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum some games off, and, they dropped a few. But those aren't really important games. It's more important to have your stars ready when the playoffs come around. And they have this elite core with Porzingis, with guys like that, Sam Hauser and Al Horford, as well as the guys I just mentioned. But the anomaly himself, Jayson Tatum, has been hooping this year. 27 points a game, 8.7 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and 1.1 steals. He should honestly be getting more mentions in MVP talks, but TikTok hates him, so there's just no chance that's going to happen. 5.9 assists per game this year, up from 4.8 last year, which is a really good improvement. And I'm really liking, the change in he and Jaylen Brown's game, where they look to pass more often than they look to shoot and score. They're still score first guards, but they can facilitate now as well. And at just 26 years old, he is only shooting 45% from the field, despite being 6'9" and 35% from 3. So I'd like that to be a little bit better, but still, just a great season from Jayson Tatum. He also has clamps, as we saw in last year's playoffs. That's what, building this Celtics roster around these 2 All-NBA wings with Tatum and Brown is, it gives you so much flexibility because they can be your number 1 and number 2 options on offense, and they can still clamp down on defense. And Jaylen Brown, if he's got this three-point jumper working, this man is one of the most dangerous players in the NBA. Everybody loves to make fun of him for having no left hand. I might have done it a couple times on the channel, but he is so explosive, and when he gets that jumper going, he's unguardable. 23 points a game, 6 boards, 4.7 assists this year. That's why he was the Finals MVP last year, because when he gets going, there is really nothing you can do about it. 46% shooting from the field. The good thing is for the rest of the league that he only shoots 32% from 3, but if he gets hot in the playoffs again, it could be wraps. We've seen him go for 44 already this season as the second option, and it's been a really, really good season for Brown, and it's not anywhere near being done. He's still, got 20-some games left. We'll see what he can do during that time. And then it's time for the playoffs, where he really stepped up last year. Of course, you still have Tatum, who I think is the best player on this team, and a lot of people do as well. But Jaylen Brown is a great number 2 option, and he can also defend really well. That's great defense on Anthony Edwards, one of the quicker guards in the league. And then shutting down Tyrese Maxey, who has had a really, really nice couple of seasons, and he's even showing his versatility, being able to guard post, being able to guard Siakam down low. But with these two guys, they have that structure in place to dominate for the next 8 or so years while these guys are still in their primes. With that being said, if you've made it this far in the video, make sure to like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you are enjoying it at any point. As you can see here, a large majority of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. Now, let's talk about Derrick White himself. The ultimate glue guy, the best role player maybe in NBA history. Derrick White, almost 17 points a game, 4.5 boards, 4.5 assists, and a steal and a block per game. And this dude is just 6'4", but he does have a 6'8" wingspan, which really helps him around the rim, blocking shots, and, just being long and athletic. Give me that Donovan Mitchell. Now we're going the other way. His defense leads to offense, and he is extremely good at what he does. He helps, along with Drew Holiday, they have one of the best defensive backcourts in the NBA. Derrick White shoots 44% from the field and 39% from 3 on about 8 attempts per game, which is a blistering percentage, honestly. You can't double down on Jaylen Brown or Jayson Tatum because you got Derrick White standing out there ready to knock it down on top of Baylor Scheierman, who we've already talked about, on top of Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, other guys like that. They can all shoot the crap out of it. And speaking of Drew Holiday, he's having a little bit of a down year this year. 11 points per game, 4.1 assists, 3.8 rebounds, and 1.1 steals in 31 minutes a night. And last year, he was a lot better. He's shooting 44% from the field this year, 34% from 3 on 5 attempts, compared to last year, where he was putting up 21.5 a night, 5.4 boards, and 4.8 assists per game with a steal and a block. So a little bit worried about it. He did just get a new contract. He's been a little bit banged up with the finger injury all year, so maybe that's got a little something to do with it. But last year, he shot the crap out of it. And this year, he has not been able to replicate that success. But maybe he gets hot come playoff time. And still, he is a great defender and a really good guard for this Celtics team to have in the lineup. But where Drew has kind of slacked off on the offensive end, Peyton Pritchard has picked it up. This year, he is averaging a career-high 14 points per game to go with 3.7 boards, 3.4 assists, and 1 steal in 28 minutes per game. And he's doing that on 47% shooting from the field and about 42% from beyond the arc on 7 attempts per game. Pritchard is the ultimate 6-man, and he just dropped like 40 the other night coming off the bench. A ridiculous night for him, where Derrick White also had 40. This Celtics team is really, really good. Also, shout out to 88-year-old Al Horford, who just continues to ball out. At this point, he will never fall off. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.